Hello everyone. In this session, let's discuss about what is an empty class. Okay. Uh, it is often asked in the interview why the size of an empty class is not zero. Okay. It takes one bit. Have you wondered why? Okay. Before get into this question, let's understand what is an empty class. So, empty class is a class which does not have any data members. Okay, it does not have any data members. It means that it does not contain any variables, either built-in type or user-defined variable inside the class. However, it can have functions. So still that is an empty class. So what makes what constitutes the size of a class? Let's say have a class A. So I have it an int A, int B. So what is the size of this class? Let's include. Okay. See out size of A. So what is the size of this? Let's see this. After okay. I missed the semicolon. Okay. The size of the class is 8. So why 8? 8 because this is 4 byte and B is 4 byte. So if I remove B, it should be 4 byte, right? So the size of the integer depends on what kind of a machine you are using or what kind of architecture you are using. If it is a 32-bit machine, the size of integer will be 4 bytes. Okay. Okay. Now let's remove this also. Now what do you expect? So this is a empty class. What do you expect? So here the size of the class A is not 0. Okay, it is 1. It takes 1 byte. Why? Why it takes 1 byte even though it does not have any data members or placeholders? Why it takes 1 byte? Okay, so this is a question. So this 1 byte is allocated by the compiler, okay, to an object of an empty class for its unique address identification. Okay, let's say for example, if you create object of this class A, okay, if you create object of this class A, so where the object should be, it has to have some value, right? The class has to hold, or object has to have some address. So what is that address? So that address is stored in that. That's why it allocates at least 1 byte to store that. Okay, so when you have multiple objects, so they can have a unique different memory locations. Okay, let's assume class does not have any size. So what would be stored on the memory location? Okay, there is no answer for it, right? So that's the reason when we create an object of an empty class in C++, it needs some memory to get stored. And what is the minimum amount of memory that can be visited? It is 1 byte. That's the minimum amount of memory that can be visited to store the empty class. Let's say if you create, so let's see, when you create two different objects of this empty class a and b. So let's try this. If address of a is equals to address of b, okay, since it's an empty class, let's see if the address of a is equal to address of b. If that is the case, both objects are same, which is ugly. Okay. Else, here, okay, objects are different. Let's see what will happen. Let's comment this out. See, objects are different. These are not the same object. So to hold this object, class has to have some memory. Okay, that is the minimum amount of memory is 1 byte. So this is about empty class in C++. So this is a very popular question in interview. Why size of an empty class is not 0 when we don't have any storage qualifiers, any built-in data types declared inside the class. Okay, even if you have a function or func, empty function, still the size of the class is 1 only, because function will not constitute for size of the class. Okay, size of the class is still 1. So function, even if you have n number of functions, func2 size of the class is 1 only. So the size for the class doesn't depend on the number of functions in the class. So it does not constitute, the functions in the class does not constitute of the size of the class. But if you have a virtual function, the game changes. Now, what is the size of the class? Any guesses? Now the size of the class is same as size of the pointer. Here it is 8. Okay, why? Because if you know, virtual function will have an underlying pointer, okay, which is called v pointer or virtual pointer. Compile automatically allocates this pointer, and this pointer will be pointing to a table, a static table called v table. Okay, so we'll discuss more on this virtual function or v table when we are discussing about dynamic polymorphism. Okay, now let's just understand, this is again one more important questions on C++, integral question on C++. What is the size of the class when you have a one virtual function in the class? So what is the size of the class when you have another virtual function? Any guesses? Still it is 8. Why? Because irrespective of number of virtual functions, compile allocate only one virtual pointer. Okay, the pointer will be only one, and that pointer will be pointing to the virtual table, and that virtual table has the address of these virtual functions. Okay, so this is about some basic of class and size of the class. Thank you.